Hi everybody, welcome to the explanation video for the reading passage that was called Science. I'm sorry it is a little bit late. We're going to look through the answers quickly and then you can go on to the grammar and the writing for tomorrow. Do make sure that you're understanding the new types of questions. There won't be any more types of questions before you come to Brighter Futures. We're going to just keep practicing main idea, basic who, what, where, when, understanding vocabulary from context, and true and false questions. When you arrive in Brighter Futures, then we'll go up to the next level textbook. This is the level 1 textbook. We'll go to the level 2 textbook after you arrive here. Good luck, everybody. Now, what is the main idea of the passage? We always need to look at the answers first. A, scientists use the scientific method to research about the world around them. The scientific method has 6 steps. Science is very useful for helping people learn more information. Now, if you've read this passage, then you know that there is the word science and the word scientific and scientists, all the way through. We can see science, we can see science, science. Every paragraph talks about science and scientists. And science is also in all of the answers. So we need to go a little bit deeper. Well, if we look at this section here, it starts to talk about the scientific method. And then it says these are the main features of the scientific method. And these are the features of the scientific method. So we can say that half of the passage, from here down to here, half of the passage is about the scientific method. So we have scientific method in answer B, and we have scientific method in answer A. We don't have scientific method in answer C, so now we can take away this answer. We know this one will be wrong. But which one is going to be correct? Well, A says scientists use the scientific method to research about the world around them. B says the scientific method has 6 steps. B is good for this part here, but it doesn't really include this. This is about science, it's about the world around, it's about using the scientific method, it's about people researching, it's about understanding. So the best answer is answer A. B is just too narrow, it's too small, and the last one was too broad. Two. What do scientists test by doing experiments? So the key word here is test. Can we see that in the passage anywhere? Well, it says here, research uses the scientific method. Scientific researchers use hypotheses based on ideas or earlier knowledge which can be categorized through different topics. Then those hypotheses are tested. So test links to this here. And what is being tested? The hypotheses, the guess, the prediction, the idea about what will happen, the hypotheses. So you should have written down the word hypotheses. Question 3. This one was really difficult, I'm sorry. When I put this question into the Google form, I thought it would give you 3 marks. If you got 3 correct, 2. If you got 2 correct, 1. If you got 1 correct. But actually, the Google form was only marking it if you got all 3 correct, then you got 3 marks. If you got 1 or more wrong, then you got 0 mark. So I will be changing your marks on my records. What 3 things do scientists do to study objects? What 3 things do scientists do to study objects? Let's look at this third paragraph. People who study and research science and try to find out everything about it are called scientists. Okay, so we have the word scientist, and it matches the word scientist here. Scientists study things by looking at them very carefully. So, look at things closely. Looking at things carefully, closely, this is the same idea. By measuring them. So measuring them is here. And by doing experiments and tests. So do tests. So the three answers you needed were look at things closely, measure things, do tests. I will go and check your marks before I add them onto my spreadsheet. Question 4. Who? Who created the term scientist? Who means we're looking for a person's name. Well, let's look down here at the fifth paragraph. It was in the 19th century also that the term scientist was created by William Whewell. So the answer is William Whewell. Again, just match those words to the passage. Question 5. What do scientists collect when they do experiments? Well, I was actually looking down here. They do experiments and they collect data. But when I looked at it a second time, I actually saw that they collect facts. So, if you wrote down facts, it's correct. If you wrote down data, it's also correct. If you wrote down either of those answers, you get it correct. And I have changed that on the spreadsheet. Question 6 was another horrible question where there's two different possible answers. If scientists do not agree, what do they do next? Well, it says here they may agree or not agree, so that's where we're finding the not agree. Then it says they may suggest another answer, or they may do more experiments. So if you said do more experiments, you get the mark correct. If you said suggest another answer, you're also correct. You can have the mark for either of those answers. What does the word experiment mean? Now, think about how we're doing experiments. Let's talk about here, it's about science is doing an experiment. And you test the hypotheses by doing experiments. So trying something new is the meaning of experiment. If we said we experiment with new food, it might mean that you try Indian or Western food. But in this passage is about the scientific meaning of the word experiment. An experience, a new idea, again, that can also be an experiment. But in this passage, we're talking about science. And we are testing hypotheses. If we test the hypotheses, we want to know, is it true or not? Now, again, it talks about measuring them by doing experiments and tests. So the best answer is going to be a test to prove something. Question 8. Science is about the natural world, so does not include astronomy. Well, the first sentence says it is the total of physics, chemistry, biology, geology, and astronomy. Astronomy means the study of space. So here it says does not include, but the first paragraph, says it does include, so the answer is false. Question 9. Research is an alternative to the scientific method. Well, it says research uses the scientific method. An alternative means something different. We can do scientific method or we can do research. You can go to CDC, or an alternative is you can go to Satu'li. So alternative means an option. Here it says research uses the scientific method, so the answer is false. This one is a little bit tricky. It says hypotheses are always rejected by experiments. Well, it says scientific research uses hypotheses. It says hypotheses are tested. If you're testing something, you can pass or fail. So you will not always reject, you will not always fail the hypotheses. So the answer is false. Question 11. Today, the word science refers to the method of finding knowledge. What we have today, and the beginning of the fourth paragraph says today. Today, science usually refers to a way of pursuing knowledge, not just the knowledge itself. Pursuing knowledge, finding knowledge, these two things match, so this answer we can say is true. Question 12. The third step of the scientific method is asking questions. Well, if we're looking at number 3, it says scientists investigate the problem. Number 4, scientists do experiments. Now I say number 4 because actually it says here the scientific method starts here, and so here is actually number 1. Here is number 1, here is number 2, here is number 3. But it says scientists do experiments. Actually, asking questions is the first step, not the third step. So the answer is false. 13. When scientists discover something, they share the information to other people. Well, it says here they tell people about it. So if they tell people, then they are sharing the information. So the answer is true. And question 19, last question. Not all conclusions are accepted and scientists sometimes disagree. Well, it says later other scientists may agree or not. So agree or not means disagree. So the answer is true. Make sure you understand, make sure you can see how to match words in the questions to words in the passage, or the similar idea, the same idea in the question to something in the passage. And that really helps you to find the part of the passage where the answers are. Next week, we're just going to keep practicing. There's going to be no more introduction videos, but there will be explanation video every time. Work hard. You've just got 2 more weeks left, and then you'll be joining us in Brighter Futures. Stay safe, everybody.